like to see that. See, I didn't know anything about that.
Good evening, everyone. A big welcome to all of our guests tonight and our regulars too. Thank you all for coming out tonight. I got a lengthy agenda, so we'll get right to it. At this time, I'll call to order the regularly scheduled board meeting for the Village of Midlothian, May 8th, 2019 at 7 p.m. Roll call, please.
Trustee Kidney?
Here.
Trustee Crowley?
Here.
Trustee Gillis?
Here.
Trustee Ivan?
Here.
Trustee Killily? Here. Trustee Kreis?
Here.
Mayor LaRue?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence for our fallen veterans. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So tonight we're going to start off with the swearing in of our newly elected three trustees. Clerk Moscow will be doing the swearing in. I presume no one brought anyone to swear them in? No? Okay. So let's get to it.
Trustee Crowley, you're up first. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
Sandra Crowley,
Having been elected to the position
having been elected to the position
of Midlothian Village Trustee
of Midlothian Village Trustee
in the Village of Midlothian,
in the Village of Midlothian,
aforesaid do solemnly swear
aforesaid, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the ordinances of the Village of Midlothian,
and the ordinances of the Village of Midlothian,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Village Trustee
and of the office of Village Trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Trustee Billy? Just raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I'm Killily.
Having been elected to the position
Having been elected to the position
of Midlothian Village Trustee
of Midlothian Village Trustee
in the Village of Midlothian
in the Village of Midlothian
in the County of Cook,
in the County of Cook,
aforesaid do solemnly swear
aforesaid do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the ordinances of the Village of Midlothian,
and the ordinances of the Village of Midlothian,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Village Trustee
of the office of Village Trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations, Trustee. Trustee Ivan. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
Carl Ivan,
Having been elected to the position
having been elected to the position
of Midlothian Village Trustee
of Midlothian Village Trustee
in the Village of Midlothian
in the Village of Midlothian
in the County of Cook,
in the County of Cook,
aforesaid do solemnly swear
aforesaid do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the ordinances of the Village of Midlothian,
and the ordinances of the Village of Midlothian,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Village Trustee
of the office of Village Trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
All right. Look forward to working with all of you. Continuing to work with all of you. Congratulations, all three of you. It was a hard-fought win. But, congratulations nonetheless. Okay. Glasses. So, Trustee Christ, the recipient couldn't make it tonight for the...
His wife is ill.
So we will reschedule.
We are postponing it, yes.
Okay. Then, we will move on. We have two proclamations here tonight to read, recognizing our first responders. We are very proud of our police and fire department and our public works. I'm hoping that Joe will present a proclamation for Public Works Week one day. No? So we're very proud of our police and fire, and they deserve all the respect and recognition that we can give them. So, no further ado, I will read the first one. Would be about the National Police Week. Village of Midlothian Proclamation for the National Police Week, May 12th through May 18th. In 1962, President Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day and the calendar week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week. Whereas the members of law enforcement agency of the Village of Midlothian, Illinois, play an integral role in safeguarding and protecting the rights and freedoms of our community, and whereas it is important that all citizens know the duties and responsibilities of the police department, and that members of our police department recognize their duty to serve and protect, and the outcome of the duty will be fulfilling, exhausting, and may succumb to the ultimate sacrifice. And whereas, since the first recorded death in 1791, thousands of law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty. And whereas the citizens of our community join in commemorating fallen officers and their families, as well as officers past and present who, with faithful and loyal devotion, secure the rights and safety of all community members, we publicly salute the service of law enforcement officers in our community and in the communities across the nation. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Gary LaRue, and the Board of Trustees of the Village of Midlothian, Cook County, Illinois, do hereby proclaim the week of May 12th through May 18th, 2019 as National Police Week in the Village of Midlothian. Not sure a proclamation does it justice, but it's good stuff, and you guys are great people, and we're very proud of you. So, all right, we'll move on to our other favorite department, our fire department. This proclamation is regarding emergency medical services. So, the Village of Midlothian proclamation: whereas the emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the member of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas the emergency medical service system consists of emergency physicians, emergency nurses, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, first responders, educators, and administrators, and others. And whereas the members of the emergency medical services team, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills, and whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical services providers by designating Emergency Medical Service EMS Week now. Therefore, I, Gary LaRue, Mayor of the Village of Midlothian, Illinois, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 19th through the 25th, 2019, as Emergency Medical Services Week. With the theme, Beyond the Call, I encourage the community to observe this week and appreciate all who serve in our village. Thank you. So again, I don't know if the proclamation really does everyone justice, but yeah, we need to thank our first responders every day we get a chance to. So thank you all so much. And And I want to thank Community Policing Committee Sandy Cortez. They think you brought ribbons and goodies too, or something? Where's she at? Oh, there.
CPC has refreshments for everybody
Okay,
to celebrate the police proclamation. So
nice.
please help yourself.
Feel free to mingle while we're talking. That's fine. All right, what is next? Let's see. We'll go on to, is there any representatives of any village committees or commissions here tonight?
Rita Sunny, Keep Midlothian Beautiful.
Sandy Cortez, Safety Committee and CPC. Michelle Q1, CPC.
Village Water Commissioner, keep the locally beautiful and environment.
George Jones, Veterans Committee, Midlothian VFW, Midlothian Veterans.
Kathy Faulkner, Planning Commission.
McPherson, CPC, Bridge Commission.
Technology Committee.
Welcome all of you. Any members of any local organizations here tonight? Rita Sarni.
Ms. Harney, Friends of the Library.
Okay. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. At this time, I will move on to public comment. If you'd like to be made a matter of public record, please stand, state your name and address, and please use the microphone so that Helmet can pick you up better. Is there anyone that has any public comment tonight?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Village Board. My name is Robert Smith, and I live at 14309 Kilbourne here in Midlothian. I've been there in that neighborhood for 64 years. Today I took the liberty of driving around the village to see from your newsletter the different street improvements that were taking place in this year. And I saw a lot of needs for pavement and cracks in streets and things like that, you know, minor cracks. Nothing really serious. There were a couple of them that were like one-way, dead-end streets that were going to be paved, you know. And my concern right now is that I live on Kilbourne between 143rd and 144th. And 143rd, of course, is where the Colmar School is located, 144th Street for that one block. I would like to invite the board members, anybody who would like to go out there and see the condition of that street especially between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. in the morning, and between 2 and 3 in the afternoon. The street is a half width wide, that portion of Kilbourne is. There are no curbs and there are no sidewalks. We have numerous holes and cracks in the street now. And it's forcing the cars and the buses to dodge those holes. It's getting to a point where it's extremely dangerous on there. They also have to dodge the kids that walk on the pavement because there are no sidewalks in that area. And either they got to walk on the pavement or in the ditch. You add to that thing on Tuesdays when the garbage cans are put on the street, that these vehicles now have to dodge the kids in the garbage cans. And it's getting really dangerous out there. And I just, you know, I've lived in the neighborhood for 63 years, and I've seen a lot of patching on Kilbourne Avenue. They let the cars tamp it down and all that stuff. But the holes are still there, and they show up again. And what I would like to see is maybe some attempt to have the village pave that street, because it is a through street. It's got buses on it for those two times during the day. Heavy automobile traffic, of course, it's all one way for those two times of the day also. But it's really taken a beating, and there's lots of holes in here. And I'm worried about the kids because they don't have any place to go. They have to walk on that pavement, and we're looking for an accident to happen out there. So I would hope that someone on the board or anyone who would like to take a look at the street and see if you could arrange for some kind of paving job to be done out there, because it is a thoroughfare up to the traffic light, and And I would certainly like to see some improvement done on Kilbourne between 143rd and 144th. Thank you for your time.
I know, yes, we are getting some streets done this year that were supposed to get done last year, and Superintendent Sperry just informed me that we are going out to bid for more streets to be done. I don't know if that was on the list. It is on the list? Okay. So our attempt, since it's just going out to bid now, would be to get it done this year, but if depends on the weather. So yes, on the list, and hopefully we can get it done this year.
I'm just curious, Joe, can you tell us how, is the entire length of Kilbourne going to get repaved?
No, Kilbourne is from 143rd, 144th.
And that's all?
Yeah, well, we had to do the works. The entire length of Colmar, from 143rd, 147th, getting done. Canton Avenue is from 143rd, 144th, and then 145th to 147th. It's on Colmar, Canton. Yeah, those are the ones that are on the next.
Okay. Is there any possibility, what would have to occur in order for the village to possibly put in storm sewers and sidewalks on Colmar and Kilbourne, being that those are main thoroughfares for when the children at Colmar get out of school and walk? Because after, I've worked there several times in the last 3 weeks, and I would have to agree with Bob. I drove down Kilbourne one day, I thought I was going to lose a tire. And it is true that these kids have no place else to walk but on the street because there are no sidewalks. So is there ever a possibility that we could put storm sewers and sidewalks along those streets?
Yeah, for the village board and the residents. And it was brought to them, trustee Price probably speak that she was on board when
They didn't want it.
15, 20 years.
Who doesn't want them?
The residents did not want it.
Well, because they have to be assessed on their taxes.
Yeah.
So they passed around and
What would their assessment be?
I don't recall it, it was,
We actually did not provide a dollar. My recall is we did not provide a dollar figure. Superintendent Sperry, correct me if I'm wrong, but we gave them 3 options, and they selected the option for Public Works to go in, and they, you improved the,
regraded all the ditches and changed out all the
right.
culverts.
That's what the residents wanted.
Tom, is that something that could be part of the grant that we've talked to the schools about last year?
For that extensive work, I doubt it very much. That's a safe route to school, and for what trustee Cadby's talking about is about a reconstruction of the roadway. We actually have to lower the roadway, put the storm sewer in, put the curbing in. It's probably around 400 hours of linear foot, and do a resurfacing probably around $10 to $15 a linear foot.
anyone else? Oh, sure.
Hello, my name is Anna Wolf. I live in the city of Chicago. Do you need my address?
Yeah.
Yes?
No.
We know who you are, Anna. I know who you are.
So I work for a Chicago-based nonprofit, Center for Neighborhood Technology, and one of our programs is the Rain Ready program, which is a friend of the Village of Midlothian. We've been engaged in stormwater management efforts for a number of years. And I understand that there is question of adoption of the Stormwater Management Capital Plan on the table this evening, and I just wanted to express our support and excitement for this next phase in a many years planning process to help manage the chronic flooding that impacts residents, businesses, and municipal buildings throughout the community.
Thank you.
And Anna, we wouldn't be here without you and Center for Neighborhood Technology, so a huge thank you.
And thanks to CMAC and the Student Association who developed the plan as well.
Superintendent Sperry, can you put those out there? I forgot to do that. Anyone else? Okay, at this time I'll close.
Sorry.
I said anyone else?
Hi, my name is Sandy Cortez, 14939 Mathis, and I just want to thank the mayor for reading the proclamation tonight from the CPC. And on behalf of the CPC, I just wanted to say thank you to Trustee Kathy and Chief Delaney for presenting them with a copy of the proclamation for themselves. And we just appreciate everything you do, everything the department does. We just think a lot of you. Thank you very much.
May I correct the record to say that that's going to Trustee Crowley and not Trustee Caveney? Yes, you did. I'm like, what did I do?
You didn't hear about us.
Yeah, no.
Or you mistaken for me. Thank you.
Appointments coming up next board meeting. Anyone else?
Like you and me, Nick.
Okay. At this time, I'll close the floor to public comment and move on to tonight's consent agenda. On tonight's consent agenda, we have number 1, approval of ordinance 2026, increasing the Village of Midlothian water rate to pass through the increase in the 2019 water rate charged by the City of Chicago. Number 2, approval of ordinance 2027, amending Title 5, Chapter 9, Section 5-9-10C1 of the Village Code of Midlothian to change the rate of the municipal gas tax to 2.5 per therm. I don't think it's supposed to be municipal gas tax. I thought it was supposed to be
Good.
Gut, isn't it gut?
Good.
It's gut, isn't it?
Yeah, it's UT, gas use tax.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, municipal gas use tax.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll start over. Number 2, approval of ordinance 2027, amending Title 5, Chapter 9, Section 5-9-10C1 of the Village Code of Midlothian to change the rate of the municipal gas use tax to 2.5% or 0.025 per therm. Correct that. Number 3, approval for the firefighter Ramirez to continue in the Southern Illinois University bachelor's degree to achieve public safety management bachelor's degree and enroll in the spring classes. Number 4, approval to purchase a 2019 Ford F-150 truck for the building department not to exceed $28,465 and paid for with forfeited construction bond money. Number 5, approval to purchase Civic Gov software in the amount of $17,675 and a yearly fee of $3,850. Number 6, approval of the committee meeting minutes from March 6th, 2019. Number 7, approval of the board meeting minutes from March 13th, 2019. Number 8, approval of the list of bills. And number 9, okay, so I'm looking for a motion. Is there any item on tonight's consent agenda that any trustee would like off of the consent agenda?
Number 1, please, Mayor.
Number 1. Anyone else? Then I'm looking for a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda without number 1, which was the approval of ordinance 2026, increasing the Village of Midlothian water rate to pass through the increase in the 2019 water rate charged by the City of Chicago. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
I'm just curious, why are we taking this off? I thought we discussed this. Don't we have to pass this increase? Don't we have to pass the
I'm
increase?
going to talk about the amount of the increase that we have to pass.
We'll talk about it after we approve
Yeah,
this.
talk
Oh,
about it
sorry.
afterwards.
Well, you asked for discussion, so that's why I didn't know. All right.
I'll stop asking for discussion.
I asked for discussion, I was asking why.
All right, first, we got a motion and a second. All right, roll call, please.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
Aye.
Trustee Kami.
Aye.
Trustee Crowley.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Killy.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, now we'd like to move on to trustee business. We would like to get to the stormwater capital management plan. So trustee Kreis?
Oh, boy, would I like to get to the stormwater management capital plan. This is the culmination of how many, 2 years of work, I believe. This is what the paper looks like. So before the village board is a resolution to adopt a stormwater management capital plan. And before I make the motion, I believe we may be amending on its face. Just to give a little background, 2 years ago, Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning Local Technical Assistance Program put out a call for projects. And I never met a call for projects I didn't like. And so I started to write a grant application. And I sent it, we were having a Rain Ready Steering Committee meeting, and Anna was sitting next to me, Anna Wolf from C&T, and said, I'll help with it. And she did help. And long story short, the Village of Midlothian was awarded the local technical assistance grant. And as a result, out of just a tremendous amount of work and leadership from Kate Avasic at CMAP, and from Strand and Associates, Mike Waldron, and I don't see Kelsey here this evening, and a steering committee. A lot of work went into this, but the village has a path for its future. You don't know what to, even to contemplate any type of a stormwater utility fee at some point in the future. You can't even begin to think about these things unless you know what your needs are. This plan identifies 37 projects, and that's not saying we're going to do all these projects. They are prioritized. A lot of work went into this, but it builds on the Rain Ready plan, which was started by the Center for Neighborhood Technology. So it's been a lot of work, but this is something the village needed. It's difficult to apply for grants if you don't have a plan. Funders like to look at your plans, and I think this plan will bode well for us, especially with Cook County. So I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to CNT and CMAP and Strand, because this really, when this started, when Anna and I worked on this grant application 2 years ago, I could have never envisioned that we would have this amazing stormwater management capital plan. So, thank you. And I'll wait for applause because we haven't adopted it yet. So I'm hopeful that it's going to get adopted. So,
Go ahead, make the motion.
that being said, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the stormwater management capital plan. Approval of resolution number 19-0508 to adopt the stormwater management capital plan.
I'll second it.
Okay. Now, discussion.
Okay, and the third whereas?
Fourth whereas?
Fourth whereas.
1, 2, fourth whereas, sorry. We'd like to add a statement after the phrase Village of Midlothian before the semicolon that reads, it should read, CMAP has now developed a stormwater management capital plan for the Village of Midlothian, comma, a copy of which is attached to this resolution as Exhibit A.
Will you accept that?
I will amend my is that the only
Okay,
change?
hold on, I think Don had one
I
revision
do have one
also.
other little,
And that would go in number 7, correct, Don? 2, 3,
7,
4,
yes.
5, 6, 7.
and the only thing on that would be just to make sure we clarify what we're doing here. At the end, the last phrase in the whereas reads now, other work occurring in the village, and I think we want to clarify, just to say, with your concurrence, trustee Cavaney, other public works work.
Or public works projects.
Projects, okay.
And stormwater management work,
Okay.
right? Isn't that what we talked about?
Well, I think public works
Projects?
clear, public
Yeah,
works projects
projects, okay.
clarifies it. Just to
Yeah.
make sure that it's not out there, if we can dovetail with other public works projects to make savings in
Mm-hmm.
our investment, we're going to do that. So it would read, other public works projects occurring in the village.
Okay, so the fourth whereas is going to read, CMAT has now developed a stormwater management capital plan for the Village of Midlothian, comma, a copy of which is attached to the resolution Exhibit A. Okay. And then the seventh whereas is going to read, the plan prioritizes opportunities to serve as a guide for making stormwater investments, and the priority of the opportunities identified in the plan may be amended based on available funding sources and other public work projects in the village.
Yeah, occurring in the village,
Yes.
correct.
Okay?
I will amend my motion.
Will you amend your second?
I'll amend my second.
Any other discussion?
No.
Roll call.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Cavaney.
Aye.
Trustee Crowley.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
Aye.
Trustee Killy.
Aye.
Motion carries.
do want to, Helen called me, the reason she is not here is she had a family health emergency. She cannot be here, and she just wanted to extend her thanks to Kate and CMAP, to Mike and Kelsey at Strand, and to Anna at CNT. And I'm already thinking about the next local technical assistance opportunity that we can collaborate on so we can make some of these projects a reality. So again, thank you.
And all the members of the steering committee that helped out and attended meetings.
Meetings and, yeah, everybody, just thank you.
It was a great collaborative effort, and I think it's a pretty nice plan.
And
Anna, thank you.
they can all leave, but before, if you don't want to stay for the meeting, next on my agenda that I wanted to bring to the board's attention, because I think this is pretty, and it's tied to all of this work. Back in September 2017, Helen Lakovich, Chris Parker, and myself were invited to participate in the National Academies of Sciences Forum on Urban Flooding. And Chris Parker and I, Helen couldn't go, we went down to the Plimpton Hotel, I believe it was on September 17th, and everybody who was there is in this report. And they visited, I think, the National Academies of Sciences, and their chair was Dr. David Madmet from the University of Texas at Austin was the chair. And this work informs Congress. This work goes to Congress, and Congress can use this to change FEMA laws. So this is really important work. And we were a part of it. And this is the report. Midlothian is mentioned on page 22. Okay, this report goes to Congress. Midlothian is in here. And Chris and I are acknowledged as well. So this is pretty impressive. And again, we have to thank Harriet Festing who invited us. And Anna, were you there that day, Anna? No. Pardon me?
Someone else.
Someone else was there. And the next day, Dr. David Madmet, who is the chair of this, came to Midlothian. He wanted to visit Midlothian, and he was in Natalie Creek. So this report just came out. I think it just kind of dovetails with the Stormwater Management Capital Plan. And so if anybody's interested in this rating.
Is there an extra copy that we can copy and put on the village website?
I can send the link.
Okay, that'd be
Everybody
great.
want the
Because
link?
I'd like to put it on the website, on the CRS page.
Okay, it's pretty awesome. So
I received I asked Trustee Cavney and Trustee Price I received a survey from MWRD regarding urban flooding in our community. So I made copies of it, and I'll share it with the two of you. You can go through it, we can collaborate on the final answers.
Perfect.
yeah, I don't want to do the Survey Monkey if it's going to kick us out and we're going to lose all our data, because I've been through that.
And I'm so happy that you guys passed the Stormwater Management Capital Plan, because we send it on the letter to all of our state reps and senators for the hopefully impending state capital bill.
I got something on that too. Okay, so you don't have to stay, but you're more than welcome to stay. Again, thank you. Just a couple other updates. Great Midlothian cleanup, I felt it deserved to be mentioned at the board meeting. I thanked everybody last week, but on April 27th, Keep Midlothian Beautiful had its first Great Midlothian cleanup. It replaced the annual cleanup day in May, and it rained, and then it snowed that day. And boy, did it rain and did it snow. But we had over 100 volunteers show up. And in prior years, we had very meager turnout. So I want to thank everybody. A number of you in this room came out. You were covered in mud just like I was. My shoes are still in my garage that I was wearing that day. And we collected 1 ton of trash. So that give yourselves a round of applause for that. It was an amazing day. Amazing day. So everybody who came out that day, just remember, I'm very sensitive to litter now. When I see litter, I pick it up. But this is as a result of Keep Midlothian Beautiful. And we have a number of our board members sitting out there, so thank you. Let's see. Beautiful. I did go on Monday to this Southland Capital Town Hall meeting that was hosted at South Suburban College. And Senator L.G. Sims was the chair, and State Rep Nick Smith was there. State Rep Deborah Myers-Martin was there. And Fritz Kagi showed up, standing room only, got to talk to a number of individuals, actually got a copy of the capital bill requests from South Suburban Mayors and Managers, if anybody wants to look at this, submitted by all of the 45 SSMMA communities for funding. Now keep in mind, this is just South Suburban Mayors and Managers communities. Anybody want to guess how much is in this packet for the capital bill?
$400 million.
I don't want to go to Las Vegas with you. Close to 3.4 billion. It's just from the
Oh, I thought I
Southland.
meant just Midlothian.
Pardon me?
Just Midlothian asking for money.
Oh, this was for everybody. So,
There was a big article in Truth this morning.
was there about this? So obviously, this is going to be an issue. I think they have 3 more weeks left before they pass the capital bill. They asked for a show of hands for a gas tax. Representative Myers-Martin did, and a lot of hands didn't go up. So there were 4 panels, a lot of interesting conversation, but I just wanted everybody to know that this is what was submitted by the SSMMA communities.
Do you have a copy of the link for that document also?
I
that you
do
could
not
share?
have a copy of the link for this document. I was handed, I can probably ask for the link if anybody wants to look at it.
Or can we just copy it
Sure,
and give it to everybody?
sure.
That'd be great.
Just for the general information, I attended that meeting as well, and there was some senior citizen stuff that I saw there that we might be interested in as well, that I'll pass to you as well.
Senator Hastings was not there to ask about providing funding for the police department for DUI.
Okay, I was going to bring that up.
No, it was just LG Sims, Nick Smith, and Deborah Myers-Martin, and then Fritz Kagi was there. But there was a lot of discussion. And just as a reminder to everybody, next Thursday, if I could find my calendar, I don't know what day that would be. What's today, the 8th? So the 16th, we have Natalie Creek Trail Steering Committee at 11, and then Keep Midlothian Beautiful at noon, and that's all I have. And again, I want to thank the board for adopting the Stormwater Management Capital Plan.
Thank you, ma'am. Trustee Ivan.
Thank you, Mayor. I basically have 3 items I want to discuss. The first one being the lobby and bringing that up to code. We've already passed the first phase for replace the window to make that ADA compliant, which we'll be implementing here soon. But part of that process to make it ADA compliant was to also put in a table that can be adjustable for wheelchairs and people that have that type of issues. So that's in the detail that I sent you. I also sent you pictures of the current status of how it looks. The lobby's kind of worn out, torn up from all the abuse and stuff like that and the people going through it. So at the very least, we need it cleaned up and/or painted. Part of the work to be done is on the removing the existing table and removing the water fountain. It does not appear to be working. So I'd like to put the ADA compliant table, that's an electronic table, there, as well as 2 racks, metal racks for the building department forums. When we do that, of course, we'll have to move the electric around as well. So there's a little bit of work involved there. So in my detail, there's 2 different ways we can go about doing it with 2 different companies. Has anybody got any questions about the work or how we want to go about it?
I guess the only question I have is that there was an Eagle Scout project, and that is Freedom Hall, and I just want to make sure that the work he did is not going to be disturbed.
Well, it will be disturbed. We'll keep everything that they got in there, obviously still on the walls, but we
Okay.
just relocate it to different locations. Like the flags in the windows that are currently there, we'll obviously have to remove them so that the department can see the people when they come up to the window.
Well, I'm not talking about the flags. I think we've got.
Well, that's all part of the lobby
seals,
presentation.
The seals, we've got the
That's all
seals
staying.
from the branches of
Yeah, well,
service.
all those will have to be repaired and then remounted. One or two of them, the flag kind of got dislocated in the frame, and the other one, the paperwork got deformed and stuff like that, so we'll have to readjust all that stuff.
Right, and you're talking about the American flag that's hanging in the glass window that's part of Nick's office. That has to get
Yeah,
moved?
probably, yes.
Yeah.
So, anybody else have any other questions about it? Because what I would like to do then is, because we can't use Andy to do the repairs and the removal of the existing stuff, I went to an outside handyman. I would like to have him do that work, if that's agreeable with the board, and then purchase the table, as well as the material needed to repair where the holes would be left over from the water fountain.
I guess, do we just have one quote for the repairs?
No, there's one without Andy doing the painting and repair.
Okay, there's two documents here. One says estimate for wall repairs, the other one says estimate for wall repairs without electrical work or removing of existing structures.
Right.
So we're comparing these two?
Well, the one that, where the removal and stuff like that, that means we're outsourcing it to a handyman to do all that work. So that's why it's a higher quote than the other ones. The other one is without the handyman doing the work. It would be a different company doing the work. And that wouldn't be the removal, it would be just the painting. I believe that's like $1,000. So it made more sense, I thought, to have a handyman do it, so that way we're not sucking up the resources of Public Works.
When you say handyman,
Yeah.
a licensed.
A licensed
contract in the
village
Midlothian.
handyman. He's a carpenter, businessman.
Well, I would call him more of a small contractor than just a handyman.
You know what, that you are correct. He is a contractor.
Right. But does a lot of more small size work versus large.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so this is the part that I'm confused about, is one of these quotes is for $4,113. Okay, and that's to change the glass panel to ADA compliant with the counter in the
It
bathroom.
wouldn't be that one. We passed that last week. It's only the table on that quote,
I'm confused, and why are all these other things attached?
because the
So we
quote
already-
was all
so-
together
So we already approved the BKS custom woodwork quote?
for the glass, yes.
We only
Okay.
approved part of that.
The first line item on that, we approved it.
Yeah, so now I'm looking for an approval of the table that's in that quote. Or no, not in
There's
that
no
quote.
table in this quote.
That's a separate quote, I'm sorry. They were willing to do the painting and on the wall for the $1,000. That was their quote.
Is there any way we could get this information in a spreadsheet? Because this is confusing. It's just confusing to follow. Would you agree, Trustee Caveney?
No, I would like to move forward to try to get this approved tonight so that we can get the work going. So the quote that's for $2,150, Carl, that one says renovating the north wall in the lobby, remove the water fountain, cap off the plumbing, furnish and install the drywall, prime for new drywall. This one does not include the painting, correct?
It does not finish coat. It comes up, it does the prime, but
It
not
says
the finish
prime,
coat.
it
Yeah.
says prime, but it doesn't include the finish coat.
Right.
Okay, so that's one quote. Now, is there a corresponding second quote to match this that we're supposed to
Just
compare or no?
the finishing quote is the one without pulling the desk in the water and doing the electric. That
quote
was the
is that?
$1,000 one. That's the one that says, repairs without electrical work or removal of existing structures.
Okay, on the agenda, which document is it? You've got 5 documents or 7
The
documents.
estimate for wall
attached.
repairs without electrical work or removal of existing structures is the one that is just the painting of it.
So just the one line that says add FRP panels painted to match wall where fountain is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the third item on that document, trustee.
So actually, item 2, the estimate for table and file rack and estimate for wall repairs are the 2 that I would like to do.
So what's the total amount of what we're approving for one way versus the other one? That's- I'm totally
Yeah, this is a
lost.
little, this is a little
Totally
confusing, Carl.
lost. I'm totally lost. I think we should take those. 1 week is what happened.
All right, I will table it then and rewrite it so that it's better understandable. All right, the second item is to replace the boardroom office chairs, not to exceed $250 per chair. Somebody left me a note and didn't tell me who they were. Do you want to bring it up now? On the chairs? So nobody left this on my desk that says, need another option?
It wasn't me.
All right, then. I will make a motion then to replace the boardroom office chairs not to exceed $250 per chair.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
That's for 9 chairs?
10.
10?
10 chairs up here.
If you want them all to look alike, we would have to replace all of them. If you want me to just replace the
Oh, no, I
broken
just
ones,
wanted to,
What
So-
does a new chair cost?
It's $250.
To repair or replace?
Replace.
Andy already told us that we can't repair these chairs.
Yes, because they're from China or something like that, I guess. It's not standard parts.
wait, there's 9, because it says here, that's what I'm reading on the, it's broken on 8 of the 9 chairs. I wanted to know how many chairs we're ordering.
If you want them all to look alike, it will be 9. If you want to replace the broken, it will be 8.
No, we don't want them all to look alike.
Well, then it would be 9.
Okay, where's the brochure? I'm just seeing pictures of chairs.
He sent that.
That was last week when we
Last week.
discussed it.
Okay.
And then you
Well,
have
it
your
says,
options.
it says in the public comment, it says attaches a brochure. That's why I was looking for the brochure.
It's just showing a picture of the chair.
Right.
They're
Okay.
there.
Yeah, the pictures of the chairs show all the
Yes,
broken
that's what I
parts.
mean. That's what I'm saying. We've got 2 photos of the chairs, but under the public comment, it says attached as a brochure. I was looking for the brochure, but it's not here. It was
Last week, when
last
we
week.
discussed it.
Okay.
We had a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Ivan?
Aye.
Trustee Crowley?
Aye.
Trustee Kavy?
Aye.
Trustee Gillis?
Aye.
Trustee Killily?
Aye.
Trustee Kreis?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Well, thank you. All right, I attached a bunch of stuff on my third one. Lots of pictures. Basically, the lobby looks terrible. There's a lot of cracked stuff, missing edges, dirt in general on the thing. So that's why I separated the painting by on the first item for making it ADA compliant. I wanted to probably clean up and/or paint the whole room again so that it looks up to stuff. Anybody have any questions about the pictures and the different things that highlighted that needed repair?
I guess my question is, do we only have 1 quote for this? For the painting?
Yes.
Typically, don't we usually get 2 quotes for this kind of work?
Well, the other quote would be Andy, but Andy's...
No, that doesn't count. It's not a...
You don't want me to
Andy's-
use Andy? Okay.
Well, no, I mean, that
Well, I have a question, why aren't we using Andy?
probably doesn't have
Because
time.
Joe said no.
Well, I mean, if you get another employee, he's here all the time. I need him in public works.
But isn't he assigned to,
Well, he's just kind of the one guy that knows how to do more than anybody else. He's what he's hired for, I'm saying, he's the most talented guy that we use. And he's done day projects here and there, but the remodel of the front office, and it's, I think,
I think his time is more valuable than used for other projects because is the handyman that knows everything, and I think the painter would be more cost effective.
But typically, we get at least 2 quotes.
Well, for a job that is this small, if we are going to consider the same contractor to do the other work, to do the window, I see no problem in also hiring him to do the painting. But I think it probably would be easier for the board to review all of this if it were packaged and if we reviewed it as one whole project instead of two separate projects.
I can do that.
That might be easier.
All right, I'll have that for next week then. Yes?
In defense of trustee Agnew, we get these small little jobs, it's impossible to get everybody.
To bid on them?
Anyone look
Yes.
at it. Well, they're gonna show up, I mean, the fire
Okay.
department learned that. We gotta do
Okay.
what we can if we feel it's fair, you know, and that's my experience.
Okay.
Right. And we had discussed that situation before on small jobs. It was difficult to get contractors to bid on it, so.
You gotta just go with your reputation.
Right. Because if you remember, just to clean up the big flood mess, which was a pretty big mess, to clean that up, it was difficult to get a lot of contractors to bid on it. So to do our teeny tiny little lobby, it's gonna,
It's also, he's, registered with the village and everything, and
yes.
it's probably a good idea to develop a relationship because we're going to have quite a few little jobs that are going to be coming down the road. So, all right, well, then I will table that, or not table it, I will discuss it more next week. That, I believe, covers everything I wanted to discuss.
Can I ask a question about the planters?
Roy Erickson?
Oh, forgot about those. All right, Roy Erickson. Beautification Committee, which is one of the committees that actually finances their endeavors, wants to hire Roy Erickson at $60 per flower per box. And we have anywhere from, I believe we're up to 25 boxes as of today. We may have 2 more, I think, in the next week or so. Yes.
Any reason why all the dirt was taken out of the flower box in front of the village hall?
Yes, we are changing the way it is because with the contract that we did, Roy Erickson will be watering the flower boxes this year, so we had to change to a different type of soil. Now, this is what they call engineered soil, and it's basically a mixture of 3 different elements to make it more susceptible to the water.
Right, more water
And
soluble.
also, we want to eliminate the dirt because of the weight factor, and we're going to put in lava stone in the bottom, which will then lighten it up and provide us with about 1.5 feet worth of drainage for the plants.
Okay.
So this will facilitate the growth on everything.
Okay.
And also by going to one vendor to do all the plants, we're going to have the same style throughout the village.
Okay. And is the $60 per flower box, does that include the watering, or is that a separate charge?
That's separate in a separate country.
For free.
Oh,
Actually, we have to keep the dirt out, we have to drill holes in the bottom. You can't just, it's not good for plants, it's just soaking water.
Right.
So the way he's designed it, correct me if I'm wrong, trustee Evans, that he's gonna have holes in there, and then he's gonna have, river rock?
No, lava.
Lava rock.
Lava rock?
Yeah, it's very light rock.
Different layers, so that you use less dirt, and the water cycles through.
Which will facilitate the ability to move it and create less damage to those
Okay.
boxes.
Will he be able to use any of the EQ biosolids that we got from MWRD?
He engineers his soil on site, so I don't know what particular material he uses.
Okay, well, please let him know that that's available. We have a few bags of that left over, I'm sure.
It's not a ton of it left.
Huh?
There's not a ton of it
No.
left.
Yeah, the volume we're talking wouldn't be a few bags, we're talking quite a lot. So, but thank you for the offer.
Okay, so what type of plants is he going to put in? How many plants? Is it going to be overflowing with plants, or are we going to drive by and see 6 plants and then we have to wait all summer for them to grow?
The beautification committee discussed it with him, and we're going to go with basically 3 different plants.
Which are?
And one will be a potato plant, the other will be a flowering flower.
Flowering flower? Wow.
That will be filling in the space between the base on the grass. We're going to put a grass in the middle as a stand-up plant.
Like a spike type
Yeah.
of thing?
It's going to be, I believe, blood red grass, I think is the term for it.
So did you say potato plant?
Yes, the potato plants are going to be, it's a potato vine.
It's
Potato
a
vines,
potato vine.
they drape over the
It looks like a
side.
vinca vine. Never mind, don't, She doesn't know anything about that, Carl.
It's
You're
either gonna be
excused, trustee
purple
Crowley,
or
you're
green, and it'll
excused.
be dangling on the side,
Right, but
with
my-
pretty flowers in the middle,
Okay.
grass in the middle.
So
No.
I'm okay with just 3 types of plants because
Yes.
it makes it easier. My concern is how many are they gonna put in per box? Because those boxes are huge. So if they're gonna put in
9.
like, huh?
9.
That's all?
That's all that's needed. With the proper soil, with the proper environment, they will, it's a creeping type of plants that we're putting in there. It will fill it almost very
What are the
quickly.
flowering flowers that are gonna creep that are gonna go in there?
They're annuals, like petunias or,
I wrote it down,
Okay.
didn't I?
How long has Roy been in business landscaping? Superintendent Sperry?
It wa- it
40-some
was-
years.
It was Roy and the committee, and they decided that, that was the spacing. They decided this, they wanted the same spacing that Roy recommended when they were going to do this themselves, so.
If you don't like it, you can fire him next year.
That is,
Wave
we're
petunias.
spending,
Wave
I have no.
There we go,
okay,
wave petunias.
And that's fine. And wave petunias will cascade over the side as well. My concern is that if he's only putting 9 plants in each container, are they already gonna be in full bloom mature plants, so it's gonna look like
Based
it's
on
been
the planting
planted?
history and growth cycle of these particular plants, which are renowned for their quick growth factor, it should take 2 to 3 weeks for them to completely
To
fill the
fill in,
box.
okay.
What are you asking the board to approve?
That would be,
You forgot.
I did forget. I want to do the motion to hire
Roy Erickson.
Roy Erickson's Landscaping to supply the planting media at $60 per flower box.
And how many flower boxes?
25 at this
So
point.
$1,500 for,
Thank you, Mr. Trustee Gillis.
Maybe more, maybe 27. We don't, there's more from
Well, we
the
have to have a-
excellent letter that the building department sent out with the brochure, and we got more.
Really?
They-
How many came
I
back?
believe we
Is
got
in here?
7, is that right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I believe we
7
got
more
7
people
more,
signed
yeah.
up for water? Oh,
Yes.
cool, very good. Last year, we had like 8 or 9 or 10.
Yeah. So
Cool.
you're,
That's excellent.
great job.
So I will make the motion for $60 per box for 25 boxes.
I'll second that motion.
Thank God. Do I dare ask? Any other discussion? Hearing no other further discussion, roll call, please.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Killiely.
Aye.
Trustee Kami.
Aye.
Trustee Crowley.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, now I'm done.
Okay. Trustee Gillis.
I have nothing this evening.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Cavney.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, I believe I sent everybody an email, a reminder email with regards to American Tower. And I did get a voicemail. I just wanted to refresh everyone's memory on the cost of this, on the change to the terms of the contract that American Tower is asking for. And I did get a voicemail back finally from their property acquisition department, and they do have some marketing ideas, but they don't really have a hard and fast marketing plan. So I'm kind of on the fence with this whole idea with American Tower, because the village could go ahead and, agree to modify the contract and reduce our annual rent, and we have no guarantee that they will even add another user on that tower, so we may never get the $225 a month revenue share. So I'm kind of ambivalent about it. I don't have an opinion about it either way. So I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. So, does anybody have an opinion about this? Should we go for it, not go for it? I mean, if we don't go for it, then it's very likely in the next 6 to 12 months, American Tower can just decide that this is very, this is not a profitable site for them, as they are telling me. It's operating in the negative, and I explained to them that's not the village's problem. I understand the term situation, but, they could have brought this to us well in advance of 18 months ago. And they didn't, and so I So at this point, it's kind of a crapshoot. We either agree to the terms and we reduce the rent from about $1,975 a month down to $1,455 a month. That would commence July 1st. We'll still get the annual 3.5% escalation. If they do add any additional users, we'll get a revenue share. But even if they add one user, that's only going to bring us up a couple $100. We're not going to be back up to the $1,900 revenue we've got now. So,
Are we voting on this?
no,
It's not on the
no,
agenda.
no.
Put it on the
I
agenda
just-
for approval next week.
Yeah, okay. So, next item is I did attend a town hall meeting this past Saturday out at Prairie State College. It was hosted by Senator Dan Hastings. He's not our state senator, but he represents the district that's next to ours. And Representative Myers-Martin was always as well there. And the subject matter was the cannabis legalization bill that is in front of the legislature right now. And coincidentally, on Sunday, there was a big article in the Chicago Tribune with regards to this. So I went and I listened, and all of the information that was presented, of course, was very positive information to the advocating for this particular bill. So in listening to all of the data that was shared, one would come away thinking, yeah, it's really a good idea and everybody should go along with this. But of course, I'm still on the fence because I don't know personally how I feel about legalization. But that's neither here nor there.
Just so you know, Cap,
Yeah.
the Illinois Association of Chief of Police came out with an official statement on it as well today. I just got a little bit of a, I haven't read it.
Okay.
I'll send it to you as well.
A woman who was there who spoke about this, her name is Rose. I did not catch her background. She is not a state employee. She works in the private sector, but she is working with the elected officials who are drafting the bill and pushing it forward. And apparently the state of Illinois has been doing a lot of homework. They've been studying a lot of the bills that have been written in other states so that, and they're trying to make this bill as drum tight as possible so they don't make some of the same mistakes that other states have made. I stood up and asked the question with regards to the amount of money that the village now is required to pay to have the DUI test kits. I stated that, the state of Illinois, the state, who used to test the kits for us? Thank you. The state crime lab used to test the kits for us at about $200 a pop, but their backlog is so overwhelming that they're not doing that any longer, so the village was required to contract with the UIC crime lab, and now we have to pay $1,200. So,
It's free.
Oh, it was free before. Oh, I'm sorry. So I asked if they did give us a breakdown of how all of the state funding was going to be paid. Oh, I'm sorry. They didn't give it. Did they give this to that? No, I think it was in the newspaper. In the newspaper, there was a breakdown of how the state income on this was going to be broken down. And the most minute amount was being applied to law enforcement. So I had asked the question, is this bill going to include any funds to expand the state crime lab so we can go back and have these kits tested for us at a more reasonable price? And I got a very vague non-answer. So I'm very concerned about that. Also in the newspaper.
That's one of the points in the,
Right.
in the response.
Also, what was not discussed on Saturday, but what was in the newspaper, was the fact that after the bill is approved, every municipality has 1 year to opt out. After that 1 year is over, we no longer have the ability as a municipal board to opt out. We will be required to put it to referendum. So it'll have to go to the voters, and it'll be up to the citizens of each municipality to decide if they want to have basically a pot shop in their neighborhood. So, but from what I could tell from the information that was provided, it sounds like the state of Illinois is going to have stricter regulations with regards to the sale and the amount that can be sold and blah, 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 blah. So, I don't know. So I just wanted to share that with the board, and Okay. All right, Sandy, help me here.
Just use this.
Okay, hold on.
Got it?
Okay, sorry. Okay, with regards to the non-union insurance policy, I forwarded an email to everybody last week. I do not have this on the agenda for approval because, as you saw from the email, I had gotten a note back from our Horton Insurance Agency. They had recommended that we have our attorney review the very last paragraph, which was paragraph number 4, relative to continued coverage for dependents in the event of the death of a spouse or a retired person or retiree. And there are certain COBRA laws that we are required to follow. So I asked our attorney to review that and to make any adjustments to the language as is necessary. So as soon as we can get that language back, we will get it on the agenda for review and approval. I wanted to bring up the water bill and the sewer charge. I was hoping to be able to discuss this after we talked about or approved the water, where is it on the agenda?
Water rate.
The water rate.
Water rate increase.
My understanding was, I thought that our sewer charge was supposed to be pretty close or nearly match the water charge, thinking water in, water out. If you got water coming in, you got water going out, we have to, the sewer, and basically, the reason I wanted to bring this up briefly is so I could ask Joe, in that sewer charge, do we just have one number? Do you know what the breakdown is or what the proportionate share is on how much money we spend of that sewer charge? How much is spent on fixing and repairing sanitary sewer versus stormwater sewer?
Breakdown there right now. Get together.
It's in the ordinance, but.
What do you mean it's in the ordinance?
It's a little complicated about the formula, but the sewer charge is far less than the water charge.
She's asking about.
No, the sewer charge
What
is on the
percentage we
bill.
use for water.
The sewer charge that's on the bill, it's like $4.50. Of that $4.50, how much is allocated to storm sewer, how much is allocated to sanitary sewer?
It shouldn't be any storm. That's sanitary.
It should just be sanitary.
That sewer charges your sanitary.
Sanitary only.
Yeah, we actually, that's right, we use the street funds for storm sewers.
Okay.
We have so many funds, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I have to look back at my budget constantly. because I pay that out here. I can answer that really easy for you.
Okay, well, I just wanted to bring that up in light of the fact that we just adopted the Stormwater Management Capital Plan. We do need to start discussing how we are going to start funding some of our stormwater sewer repairs. So I know that Trustee Ivan in the past has mentioned several times that we should potentially expand the sewer line item on our water bill to include a line item for that, for storm sewers. Because we have to repair our storm sewers the same as we have to repair our sanitary sewers. So I just wanted to put that thought in the board's head and let everyone start thinking about it and start coming up with some other ideas. But we can certainly bring this up for further discussion at a committee meeting, but I just wanted to ask that question since I knew you would be here. And that is all I have.
You already talked to Attorney Valdez about the text amendment process for the Midlothian cars?
Yes.
Okay. And Superintendent Weiner knows?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Trustee Keeley?
Thank you, Mayor. Do you want me to
Yes.
talk about my big pitch for the water rate increase? So the expenses of the water department keep on going up. There's water main breaks, which seem to be increasing. There's obviously labor, like any department, labor keeps on going up, obviously, as it should. And also supplies and everything else. And normally, you know, how that's paid for is that there's a difference, obviously, between what we charge residents and what we pay for water. Last time, when this happened, we did a pass-through. This time, we're going to do a pass-through. And the expenses keep on going up, but we're not getting, where we're getting extra revenue to pay for that. See, if you keep on doing pass-throughs, eventually, right now, the water department's in the black. If you keep on doing pass-throughs, it's going to catch up where we won't have any money, you know, we'll be in the red. And, you know, it's a good idea, I think, again, that the water fund is in the black more and more, because if we can fix mains or maybe replace a main here or two that keeps on breaking, because there are some, it seems like there are some that consistently this freeze-thaw thing keeps on hitting certain areas, that we won't have to go out for bonds and like we did in 2010. It saves the residents money not to have to pay interest costs for bonds, so on and so forth. But if we keep on this policy of just doing pass-throughs because it sounds good, I think we actually, in the end, we're going to shortchange the residents. We want to build up the water fund, and that's, in the end, is going to be cheaper for the residents not to have to borrow to replace water mains that are getting older. You know, we replaced water mains, but we didn't replace by any stretch of the imagination all the water mains. We just did the east side, and the rest of the town is getting older too. So I'm going to appeal to you to, I'd like to amend this to 6 cents, whatever that is, 6 cents per 1,000 gallons rather than 3 cents, and to give us some more breathing room.
I'm not in favor of that at all. Our water rates do include a surplus from what mid-market charges us, so I'm not in favor of that at all. I don't get a vote.
I think my concern is doing it now when we have a lot of other things that are coming up that we're looking at, at the rain fund, we're looking at other increases in other areas because things are going up. I mean, I just think residents are really, we're looking at trying to do monthly billing for water because people are having a hard time doing it every 3 months. We're having seminars to make sure people know all their options. I mean, right now, I know 3 cents doesn't seem like a lot, but I just think right now, I mean, our residents, including this board, we're all looking at a lot of increases in a lot of areas, and I don't disagree with what you're saying and that we need a fund. I just don't know how much people can continue to increase at the same time.
I don't know when that time's going to be that we're not doing that. I've never seen that time where people were not, things get more expensive, and eventually, it's going to come back. It's going to come back to bite us.
Maggie, how much is in that fund? Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't know off the top of my head. I can get that to the board tomorrow. And I did get this letter. I got a copy of the letter, and I created the same spreadsheet that I did last year, which is we raise it 3 cents, 6 cents, 9 cents, and see how much extra money that means every year to the board. I think that's important to look at that.
Did we ever adjust the sewer rate last year when we talked about it? I don't remember. I know it's a different rate, but...
Right, no, we didn't adjust it.
Were we going to look at that too? I mean, we might as well look at it all together.
We didn't do that.
Do we know what what is Midmark charging us now for water?
408 for senior?
Excuse me.
What is Midmark charging us now? 408 per
I
1,000?
think they're charging us
407?
406?
Yeah.
And then, and does that, and then, so if they're charging us 406, what are we charging the residents?
812.
Oh, 89. I'm sorry.
So
I have my spreadsheet.
406 is what we pay, and how much are we charging? 809?
812, I think.
So that's...
812, so that's double.
Yes, and you need it to pay for your expenses for the water department.
And I think what.
I mean, we do have a surplus. I don't want to minimize that. We do have a surplus now.
Could I add something?
Yes.
I was just at a seminar today. The Ag Committee's soon to be mandating that we remove all the lead lines. We have 400 lines that we remove. This is something I was going to ask Don to meet with myself and Engineer Nagel next week to discuss. Present to you guys. I wasn't aware you were bringing this up for approval. So there's some interest loans. We'll get into that. Tonight's not tonight, but I'll discuss it. But we're going to be presenting something to you guys in the next few weeks.
And will that include, while we're removing the lead, replacing some of the sewers and the lines that are bad?
Not the sewer, it's just the lead lines.
Just the lines?
And when you say
Water
lead
lines coming
line,
in.
you're talking about the lateral lines that come off of the water main. Those are the lead lines service lines that go
Into
into
the
people's
houses?
homes.
Right.
It's coming down the road. I don't know how soon I can tell you, but they're moving pretty fast.
In the meantime, the rate increase is coming from Midmark next month, so we need to pass this. So I'm looking for a motion to approve ordinance 2026, increase in the Village of Midlothian water rate to pass through the increase in the 2019 water rate charged by the City of Chicago.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Is there any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
Aye.
Trustee Kidney.
Aye.
Trustee Crowley.
Aye.
Trustee Killily.
No.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Anything else, sir?
Yes, I do. I have two things. One is that unfortunately, a lift station pump at 147th and Costner, one of the two, broke. It was evaluated and it could not be fixed. So Superintendent Sperry got two bids to replace the pump. The low bid was $9,194 for a pro pump. I would like to put that on the agenda for next week for approval.
What's the name of it?
Pro pump.
Oh. They said Pope.
Pro pump.
How long has it been out?
It's been on a
A
couple
week?
weeks, which is
Yeah,
more
okay.
than it should have been.
And of course, that's very important
Yeah,
for
they
the
used to
sewer.
alternate, they go on and off, on and off.
So now one's working double.
We were waiting for them to evaluate to see if they can repair it.
And lastly, as you know, that Superintendent Sperry procured a roofing company to do a roof scan to try to find out where the leaks are in the roof. And they are eager to give us their report. We were going to do it at a daytime committee meeting, whoever could show up to relay it so they could tell us the results. But Superintendent Sperry just asked the question, which I think is a very good one. Would the board like to hear it at a committee meeting rather than a separate committee meeting, the results of the roof scan?
Yes. We need to hear about it at a committee meeting, all of us.
Okay, so I think we will schedule that as soon as possible. And that's all I have here.
Should he come next week, as long as we got the architect coming?
Well, as soon as they can come.
Yeah, he asked me, he wanted to meet with us. We originally, I don't know if you were here then, and Carl was there. Carl's actually the guy that found it, and then Superintendent Weiner was there. We discussed what he wanted to come out and do, and now he's got his findings, and I thought it would be best if we came and just, you guys could hear it straight from the horse tomorrow.
Okay.
I told him I was going to get back to him tomorrow after you guys decided whether you wanted to be involved in the meeting, or you wanted us to have a meeting, and then we do the recommendation.
So either next week or first week of June?
Yeah, I got to talk to him. I'll come if you guys wanted to come. Do a small presentation.
Anything else, Trustee Kilby?
No, sir.
Are you going to discuss the mold report?
Am I going to discuss the?
The mold report? Didn't we have a mold report?
We didn't discuss it because we have to get prices for remediation. I was going to discuss that all the time, but it was minimal. The effect of mold was, as I understand, just basically in the fire department. Is that right?
And there was two spots in the fire department in the ducts.
Exhaust ducts, yeah.
And then one spot in the police. And I sent the report to all the department heads. We just got to get it.
I know, the mayor forwarded it to me. I asked him for it after I didn't get it. so-
I sent it to you.
I didn't get it.
I sent the, remember the day I sent the, I said, I meant to send it the first thing in the morning, because you would ask me about it the day before, or toward the end of the day, and I didn't get it. I said,
I never got it.
I will forward
You
that.
probably sent it to trustee Kevin.
Yeah.
I guess
But I didn't get it either.
well, I sent it to trustee Grace and stuff that I was supposed to send Christmas. Letters are so close.
Anyway, it's basically good news, but we do have to get a price for remediation, and I was going to talk about that all in chat.
So there's only 3 spots, 2 in the fire department, 1 in the police department? And nothing in public works, nothing
No,
else
nothing
in
in
the rest of this building?
administration, nope.
Nothing over there?
No, that
It's
was
the,
dust.
yeah, the dust.
They were gonna fix that. Oh, okay. That's when it goes.
It was dust?
Yeah, it's dusty.
Well, Joe, I'm gonna get you some pledge and a rag. Get to it.
It's dirty, dusty.
Wear a dust
You need to dust.
Dust. Anything else?
No, sir.
Trustee Crowley.
Just a couple things tonight, sir. First, I want to thank the CPC for putting together the proclamation and the event all week for the police department. That was really appreciated. All the guys are really excited. Second, the micro pantry that this board approved a couple of months ago, we were waiting for the weather to break to get the concrete pad installed. I know Superintendent Sperry has it on his list of concrete projects. But the micro pantry company that provides them is going to deliver it May 30th and place it in the grass pending the concrete pad being poured, because otherwise we have to wait till the end of July. They have everything set to go out through May 30th, otherwise they'll be waiting till July. So it's not real heavy. The company said,
Probably had, but Carl was trying to get the drop box for the pins. You put it in the grass right there in the front, the sprinkler system runs all around the other edges.
that's the first I'm hearing about it. So I mean.
I was out there with him for the drop box. I wasn't involved in the pantry. I've heard about it, but I didn't know when that was coming or where it was scheduled to go.
So you don't recommend a pad there, just leave it in the grass?
No, no.
I'm concerned that it'll be difficult for them to mow around it and things like that. It won't be kept neat.
Well, we could probably reroute the sprinklers or something.
You were on the email though for the pad, right?
I believe so. I think we talked, Amy and I talked about maybe getting one of those portable pads that people put an air conditioning unit on outside, so it's not.
No, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, whatever
We
works.
didn't talk about it, but I can't remember if it was for, maybe Carl was asking for, it was that.
No, it was for what she wants. Yeah, the portable pad, that whole discussion that we had with Andy.
So it's going to be delivered May 30th, Joe.
Okay.
Next, I just want to remind everybody that the CPC golf outing that supports our National Night Out is this Saturday. We have 40 golfers. There's going to be lunch, there's going to be raffles, so the more the merrier. Everybody, even if you don't want to golf, please come out, support the CPC. We will also have some of the Dirty 050 t-shirts and stuff that are now for sale available. And Friday the 17th is Cop on Top. This year, I understand we are going to have one of Midlothian's residents who is also a Special Olympic winner. I'm going to not correctly say that, so we'll just say winner. So come out and meet him. And I believe that's all I have for tonight, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's see, moving on to department heads, Superintendent Weiner.
I just want to make the board aware that property on Waverly, that collapsed, is going to be fast tracked for demolition. I don't know if I should really say demolition as much as just remove all the debris from the property.
Because it's self-imploded.
And that's going to be fast tracked, so hopefully within a month or 6 weeks, most people have that property cleaned up. Just want to make the board aware of that.
Yes, sir. Chief Delaney.
First one, thank you to the board, community policing committee, and all the residents that continue to support us. We appreciate that one. We have the market on the agenda here. We talked about the golf outing we got on top. On May 21st, also we have South Berkeley College for the recruitment day. And we have a proactive dinner for bringing our college fair, so South Berkeley that day. May 25th fifth here at the PD, we're going to do the car seat inspection day. And we're going to have a car seat that needs to be installed. We just want to make sure that it's installed correctly. We still have a few car seats that we can give away that day for anybody who needs a car seat. That event will be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then on June 8th, we're doing a channel ID program where residents bring their kids out and bring a friend and child, take a DNA sample, which is simply a swab of the mouth. Take the kids back to the parents for them to retain in the event that their child might have been missing. At least their fingerprints and DNA are on file. I just received a letter today from Circuit Court of Cook County. The suspect individual that fired the shots at our officer decided to bring in the car pursuit to drive to our village green to damage all of our property. Agreed in part to restitution as part of the sentencing. I don't know what he agreed to as part of the criminal sentencing, but we're going to get $2,781 and 85 cents in restitution for that. We're also still going after his insurance company. Our insurance providers are going to get paperwork for how much we paid out on that. So at least the courts did enforce some restitution on that. So we're aware of that. But also as the police criminal sentence. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Superintendent Sperry?
Yeah, the road program, resurfacing project that we're talking about, that's the $5,000 capital bond money. Promise is about 95% of the plan, and we're just looking to see if we can get the board's permission next week to go out to bid. We're going to accept the bids, but we just want the permission before we go out to the bid, for bid. Engineer Nagel's going to speak a little bit more on it. He's got more of the details here. We got some really good news from the county today, and I'm going to let Tom speak about that too.
Engineer Nagel.
So, I got 3 items. I'll go with the ones that Mr. Sperry talked about first. The first one is on the $500,000 roadway resurfacing program. The plans and specs are about 95% complete. We're in QCQA now. And just so everybody knows, we're going to do close to 13 blocks, and we're going to take care of the Gerald Street we talked about that was on the plan always. We're going to do Kildare from 146 to 147, Tripp from 143rd to 145th, Kilbourne 143rd to 144th, Colmar 143rd to 147, Kenton 145th to 147, and also Kenton 143rd to 144th, Colin 143rd to 144th, and Laverne 145th to Billy Casper Drive. One other thing that we added, because Mr. Sperry asked for it, so we had about 500 square yards of various location patching throughout the community. This is not going to be on the streets that we're servicing, the patching can be done already. It's going to be in there, we're going to get a great price for it, we're putting on a $500,000 job, as opposed to paying for small patching jobs in the future. So Mr. Sperry will pick a location where he wants, and he has almost like a credit of 500 square yards to do that for. He's always got streets picked out, he knows he wants to do some patching, the roads in good shape, besides some potholes. So at this time, we're asking the board for approval to advertise the project, accept bids, and open them, and then come back to the village board with a recommendation for approval. At that time, the board can decide if they want to award it or not. Right now, the engineer's estimate is at $500,000 will be targeted. That includes the design engineering, the construction, and the construction engineering also. So if that's okay with the board said we could advertise it, we gave a notice to the assistant clerk, and the assistant clerk get it in the paper. And it'll probably be, at best case scenario, probably about a week, maybe 10 days before we could advertise. And after that, we'll take 2 weeks for the take bids and come back with a recommendation. The great news is the job will be done in July. It'll be done before school starts, and because it's early start we got on it, as opposed to starting in August when we get approvals to go, it's a big help. So.
Do we need to get that on the agenda for approval?
Yes. We get that on the agenda next week for approval.
So you'll let him know what we're approving?
Yep.
Okay.
That's why we just wanted to bring it up and discuss it.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'll save the best news for the very last. Okay, this isn't such bad news, but it's good data to find out. Village of Midlothian, according to MWRD, WMO board ordinance, I put this paper on the desk for everybody to see. It's a summary of the results we found from the external property inspection. Now, just to remind everybody, there's a high priority area. It's on the back page of the community where the worst sewer problems were occurring in the village. And the MWRD required that you inspect at least 10% of your sanitary sewer system. And by doing that, you do external property inspections, soil testing, manhole inspections, and do the repairs. So out of the 550 homes that we inspected, 130 of them found deep defects. Now, all these defects are on private property, okay? Of course, some homes have multiple deep defects. So the next couple pages, I kind of blacked out where the address was on it, but you can see the kind of defects that we're finding. These are all locations where stormwater could enter the sanitary sewer that could cause sanitary sewer backups or sanitary sewer overflows. And you can see, like on the front page here, it talks about the downspouts. There was 80 downspouts that were tied in. You can imagine the amount of water a roof surface is taking to get that downspouts tied into the sanitary sewer. We don't know if it's tied into the sanitary sewer or not. What we do know is going underground needs to be investigated. It could be going to a storm sewer, it could be going to a French drain, it could be going to a swale or a ditch. And so that's part of all this. So we need to work with Mr. Weiner now on how we're going to notify the residents on what the repairs have to be done. It's going to be a big deal. I got to warn you about it. Because what's happening right now, the MWRD is mandating to repair the high priority, low cost improvements. And those are the cleanout caps and the downspouts. You can see the downspout, little flip on it, it goes in the ground, and you got to put cement in the hole that was going in. And the cleanout caps are easy to replace. The high priority, high expense repairs are not mandated. The only expression that you use there, they're kicking the can down the road. They don't want to make a resident pay $7,000 to $10,000 to put a sump pump in your stairwell drains, or to put some kind of sump pumps into their window well drains either. It'd be very, very expensive. In the future, they may mandate it. And they said they may mandate that, but right now they want to just get the lowest hanging fruit. The lowest hanging fruit are the gutters and the cleanout caps. So with that, think about what's going to happen. 130 residents are going to get a letter from the village. And some of them are going to say, you have to do this repair within 60 days on it. And then some are going to say, we found a defect, and MWRD mandates the village to have the repairs done. You need to do the repairs. We found out in other towns that we worked in, just by getting the letter, some people may have a high priority, high expense. They'll do the repairs just because they want to sell their house, or they want to be able to disclose everything is fine, or something along those lines. Well, you're not mandating that, but according to MWRD, you have to mandate the high priority, low cost repairs. And you can see the kind of cost of it. One recommendation we give to our clients is you waive the building permit fee. I know it sounds bad, because probably everybody needs money, every department needs money, but you're asking residents coming to do this work. You want to get a permit from them so that Mr. Weiner can go out and verify the work is done. And there's actually a formal sign-off the MWRD requires for every home that's got repaired. So that's coming down the pipe. This is draft. I would say by next month, we should have everything set up. And then we could make sure everybody sees what the letter looks like and how it's written, and so people, when they get the phone calls, know what's happening.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
On the downspouts, like I'm looking at a few of these pictures where it looks like the downspout, like there's these few that looks like the downspout is going into a pipe that's going into the asphalt ground.
Right.
How do we know that that's going into a sanitary sewer versus the storm sewer?
He said he don't know.
We have to do that inspection. So what we also have to ask them where it goes, and they can prove those where it goes. It may go to a sump pump in the basement that discharges onto the ground. It may go into a swale, and it may go somewhere else. Whoever installed it could hopefully tell us. Or they say it goes into the sanitary sewer.
Okay.
You know, that's what has to happen.
Because I do have a walkout basement with a drain, and mine does drain into my sump pump, and then it drains out into my front yard.
Well, that's real easy to prove then. I mean,
Yeah.
you just go over the dye in the water, put it in there, see if it comes out in the front yard. And that's the kind of stuff that has to be done next too.
And I don't see a picture of my house in here, so that's a good thing.
There's 28 pages of
I
this.
know.
We only got two, so.
This investigation just narrows it down, and now we can go back
Yeah.
and spend more time with
Okay.
each resident. A lot of them will be.
So I would just say, everything you're doing right now is going to eliminate basement backups and sanitary sewers in the future if everything falls through. And you can imagine what the residents will feel like in heavy rain, knowing they don't have to worry about cleaning their basement. And that's what a lot. And this was the worst 10%. You got to think, if you have 130 homes with 10%, you're going to have 1,300 homes in your community. And I don't know how many homes you have, but I think you should be thinking about the next worst area. And Mr. Sperry and I are working in the northeast section of town on sanitary sewer televised cleaning. But I think we've got to be trying to eliminate these basement backups for the poor residents. And something as simple as a downspout kit could do it. I mean, 130 or 80 homes could have the roofs taken off the sanitary sewer systems. So, it's coming in about a month. So the excellent news is, for the past month and a half or two, I've been telling you, we've been hearing really good news from Cook County Community Development regarding the CDBG DR grant. And that stands for Community Development Block Disaster Relief Grant. So we put a grant in there for Jolly Homes for $360,000 to do a phase 2 study on it. And with it, we got word back informally from Mr. Kleiss, Tim Kleiss, representative, saying that they're going to give us approximately $360,000. And we've been bugging Mr. Kleiss about, well, when's the paper coming, And finally, we reached out to Dominic Tosi, his supervisor, and he sent an email to Joe and I today saying the village will be getting an award of $545,000.
$545,000?
Good job.
And that's just for Jolly Homes?
That's just for Jolly Homes. Now, they need to get approval from HUD. He was very, very positive in the wording in the email he sent. And I would never doubt him. The guy is a fan of Midlothian. Mr. Kleiss is a fan of Midlothian too. And what they say they've done, it came through every time. I think it's just a waiting game now. We're going to wait it out, but I don't see any reason why it wouldn't come to fruition.
You know, and I think, and I mentioned last weekend, I mentioned in an email to you, I really think they were watching that to see if the board, they probably were watching to see how close we were to adopting the Stormwater Management Capital Plan. Because that plan was funded by the same CDBG DR for the 2013 funding. So I think they know we're taking this very, very seriously.
So what's good about
It's
this
great.
is that you paid for the phase 1, and that puts you a little ahead in front of everybody else. You got the phase 2 being funded right now. Normally, they fund the phase 3. They don't want to or fund the phase 2, which is the design plans, and not fund a construction plan. You're giving us some money to do some of the construction plan now. And what you recommend, any extra money we do have on this, we do televise the thing to the storm source. Make an assessment of it. That is a big deal. It may be silted up, it may not be silted up, but we got to make an assessment of it. And we got the money from so forth.
If I may say something here, working with Robinson Engineering and some of the board members and some of our community volunteers, this was the first grant process that I was involved in, and I worked directly with Tom on this. This kind of was an offshoot of the resident meeting that we had at Trustee Crowley's home, where a lot of the residents came, they participated, they brought us their photos, they brought us their stories. When the grant opportunity came up, I teamed up with Tom to work directly on the grant. Helen was very instrumental in helping me reach out to a lot of the residents. We just loaded Facebook, we put ads in the newspaper, we contacted people, we private messaged people, we asked them to share their stories and their photographs. We gathered all that evidence together, and all of that was part of the grant application. So I just want to thank the residents of Jolly Homes, Trustee Crowley, and Tom Nagel from Robinson Engineering for working with us on this grant. I am so thrilled. And so I hope
I'm
that we can
shocked.
get the word out
I'm
to
shocked.
our Jolly Homes residents that we have gotten this grant award, and this is going to be major for that community, for that neighborhood.
There was hundreds of people that helped us, and especially with
Yeah.
the meetings we had with the
Yes.
residents, and all the data that came pouring in.
Yeah.
I think that anytime we do big regional jobs, we should do some localized town hall meetings. And no offense, not having it here, but having it in the neighborhood you're working in. It just brought people coming down, some people at Camp Cove, some out talking, and get a lot of information.
Right.
Well, I'm certainly willing to open up my house again if you wanted to come out and tell the residents that came out in droves that night and talk to everybody. More than welcome to stop by.
Let's get the grant. I mean, we got, like 2 weeks from now, we'll be like, where's the grant, where's the grant? I was like, I can't force them to be out of it, you know? But everything was possible.
What do you think made them give us more money than we asked for? I mean, I've never heard of that before.
Well, because if you recall, it was going to cost about $4 million to do the improvement. And Strand came up, I think, with like a $5 million plan, but they had a slightly different plan than ours. They were going to go up the fingers of the roads around. And I think it was just because the need, and I think it's because they saw that there was a lot of data there that was dependable. It wasn't like a pie in the sky idea. You actually went to the money of getting the phase 1 done.
Right.
And by using that data to submit it, put you a little
Right.
higher level.
I mean, we had the evidence already to show them what was needed.
And he has skin in the game. A lot of towns didn't have skin in the game. A lot of towns saying, here's the problem, Mary, tell us how to fix it. at least you got an idea what's going to cost. We know it's a $4 million job. We know it's going to be like a $350,000 design fee. So, yeah. That's good, it's positive.
Superintendent Sperry's got money in the budget for Belly Button Hill area, so we need to work
Yes,
that
sir.
magic
I'm working
again.
on that now, as a matter of fact. We're trying to put together what the cost is, and then make sure we got everything covered. And I think by next week, we should have a cost for it, okay?
Okay, can I say something about that also? After reviewing the Stormwater Capital Management Plan and discussing this a little bit with Superintendent Sperry, I'm definitely in favor of doing that, you know, the H&H project over at Belly Button Hill, but I'm concerned that we need to expand some of that investigative work to go beyond the boundary of Costner Park, because there's a lot of other side streets that are beyond that flow into that 151st Street ditch that goes to Midlothian Creek. And when we just had this last rain event, I heard from a couple of people who live up Waverly, and there's a ditch that comes down Waverly that drains into that 151st Street ditch, right about, not at Costner, I think, Waverly hits 151st Street, I think, just east of Costner, correct, Carl, when we were
Trip.
over there? Huh?
He keeps saying Trip.
Oh, I didn't hear him say, He's. Okay, right, so we've got Tripp, we've got Keeler Avenue, so, you know, we may have to expand that H&H to just go beyond the boundary of Costner Park.
Yeah, the plan will be looking wherever the tributary area is.
Okay,
So, and we already know what the ditch system set up, and I don't think there's any storm sewers in the area. Joe, is there? Is it all open ditch?
there's a few buried pipes, I don't know if you call it a,
There's sections.
yeah, there's sections of some buried pipe, I don't know if you'd call it a sanitary sewer, because,
Filled in ditches.
yeah, yeah.
So that'll be the plan. So we're doing it, we're going to prepare a cost for what the field work would be and what the cost for doing the phase one on that is. Also in that area, just a little bit over to the west of where the ridge line is, where some of the water goes in the Natalie Creek and some of the water goes in the Midlothian.
Right.
So that will be one limit. The west limit's be easier to identify. Probably the railroad tracks is the other one, but we'll get figured out.
Excellent.
Thanks, Tom.
Wonderful.
Great news.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Treasurer Britt,
That's fabulous.
Deputy Clerk Kolacki, Attorney Valdez.
Just wanted to inform the board of a developing situation of the Keystone condominium properties at 14547 Keystone Avenue. The building department has been in an extended encounter with the association regarding leaky toilets, structural issues, sanitation issues, failure to get permits. They've been in and out of our administrative adjudication court for close to 8 months now, and the situation may be reaching its pinnacle in that my understanding that the water to the condominium association, a couple of the buildings were shut off today. Obviously, the village does not want to have these kinds of public health issues in any properties and is compelled to enforce the code. The issue is that this condominium association may be suffering financial difficulties of the bankruptcy nature. So even though we've secured fines in the amount of $4,600, it's akin to getting blood out of a rock. The issue is that they don't have money to do the repairs, so they're not dissuaded by large fines. To make a long story short, we may be coming before you, meaning the building department and legal, asking as to whether we want to have the facilities vacated, non-suitable for occupancy.
Which ones are they, Nick?
That is the it's the Keystone Condominium Association located at 14547 Keystone.
So the one on the east side of the street?
Yeah. The two-story
The two-story.
open, yeah.
There's various afflictions in the different buildings, some more serious than others, but obviously having structural issues from water damage, from sewer toilet issues, as well as having the water turned off, takes it to a new level now. And again, obviously, it's not an ideal situation to have an abandoned property or to have people moved out of their homes. But at some point, if we don't have running water and we can't get them to at least comply with basic public health rules, the board may have to address it. There may be some hope in the unit owners being able to provide for some basic improvements and repairs, because I was told by their attorney that they are going to be raising an assessment, a special assessment for these things. But obviously, when it's gotten that bad, there's questions as to whether the owners, the current owners of the property, are able to keep it viable as a residence under our village code. In 2 weeks, on May 22nd, board meeting, we will have the Energy Conservation Code ready for you to approve. I forgot to tell you the last time around when we passed, I think it was the Property Maintenance Code, that there's provisions for appeals to the building superintendent's decision in enforcing this code, rather than have a separate board created for which we'd have to recruit volunteers. The superintendent suggested that the village board be that avenue of appeal, so that ordinance will have the village board as the final arbiter of any appeal for the enforcement of the code. And that's not inconsistent with what village boards do and what you do regularly for zoning and many other issues. You are the final word on appeals for residents. So you will be that in the Energy Conservation Code too. That's all.
Thank you, sir. I got a bunch of stuff here. Let's see. Midlothian Park District is having 2 fundraisers this year. The first one is coming up Saturday, May 18th, from 2 to 6 p.m. at Cheers Live Music Venue. They're entitling it Brews and Bingo. Includes bingo, 3-hour open bar food, and live music. It's $30 a head. So, and the other one would be their golf outing, which is Monday, July 8th. I'll remind people as it gets closer. Let's see. Received correspondence from People's Animal Welfare Society of Tinley Park, PAWS. They are having their fundraiser this year will include a doggy fashion show, awesome raffle and auction prizes, a live band, special guest MC, former Chicago Bear Chris Zurich. It's called the Sapphire Soiree, and you can buy tickets online at sapphiresoiree.eventbrite.com. And if anyone needs any of this information, we'll hold on to it.
Edith will be participating.
Edith?
Edith will be in the fashion show.
She is beautiful.
Edith is a lovely, lovely dog. And you're a very special person for taking the dog in.
But thank you.
Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, we mentioned last week, is offering their EQ compost. It is exceptional quality compost. You can reach out to them, compost.mwrd.org, and it's free.
Just remember, you've all donated to MWRD. They cleaned it up and they're giving it right back to us for free.
And they're making it even more special. Speaking of MWRD, I got a lot of stuff, a lot of information, just way too much to put out on the front counter. But talks about, don't put your drugs down the drain, which we've been doing that for years with the drug take back. EQ compost, water environment pledge, understanding your sewers. Ever wonder where it goes? Down your drain isn't the end of the line. It's the start of our clean water. Restored a canopy. Rain barrels. They are offering rain barrels. The program is still alive, but it is $46 to get a rain barrel. So
That's pretty reasonable.
you can again go to mwrd.org and find out more information. Oh boy, a lot of stuff here. Tours and presentations. It's a toilet, not a trash can. Too cute to pollute. Speaking of, please pick up your animal's waste in the yard because it could eventually get into the systems, which is bad. Storm one off, take it personally. So I got a lot of information here. We'll try to disseminate it somehow through our website. I don't know. Maybe just a link to MWD.
Yes.
To say, there's a ton of stuff here, but it's good stuff.
Yeah, we can take care of it.
Okay, and then, next Tuesday, the Midlothian Public Library is having their On the Table event, from 6 to 7:30. This is through the Chicago Community Trust, invites communities across Chicago metropolitan area to participate in an event called On the Table. On the Table is an annual forum that invites Chicagoans from diverse backgrounds, neighborhoods, and perspectives to gather over mealtime conversations to build personal connections and explore how we can work together to make our community stronger. So I plan on being there, and everyone else is invited. That's all I got for tonight. Clerk Mosman.
I have nothing, thanks, sir.
Thank you. Seeing as there's no further business coming before the board, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I will make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by trustee Kreis, seconded by trustee Crowley.
One of these days, I'm going to get in first.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Hey.
The opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.